I'm Lynne with Softsquares. Today I'm going to be working on the Happy Hallows block of the month. This is a video series. I am now working on block 4, and this is something you can get the pattern through my shop. You can also get the kit that I'm working with through my shop, and both can be found at softsquares.com. So let me show you what we're doing this time. We are making the mummy block, and he's adorable, and he's the whole reason why I bought this kit. So I saw this at H&H, and I ran into one of the designers, Chris Poor of Poor House Designs, and I actually did a short on YouTube, so there's a video of her showing us about it. But I stopped because I saw this quilt, and I just think that is the cutest thing. The whole thing is cute anyway, but the mummies are what did it for me. So we're now building our mummies. So let's get to it. All of our fabric has been already pre-cut. I did that, and I've been bringing pieces over from other blocks as it has been instructing me, so that's why things are a little throw on top. But let's see what we have here. So our, I'll turn it around. B fabric is the white, and so we're going to be cutting some off, and it also talks about using a leftover piece, which is this one. So I'll get to that in a minute, but this is B. And let's find a sticker. B. All right, D is our golden fabric. I'll put that here. D? Yeah, D. The next color, so well, golden brown. I'm trying to think what we called it out of the fabrics I'm using. I'm using confetti cotton. It's called suede. Is that right? No, it's not. This is E. This is suede. See, I was going by the words on here. It says golden brown. My brain, I didn't read the whole thing. This is our gold cut, which is E. And then we have the dark gray, which is this one, which is E. That's left over from another block. Use the leftover strip from block 2, subcut it, and then take the leftover of that and move it to block 8. So I like how we are being really efficient with our fabrics. Let's see, what was that one? Gray is I. Oh, I really don't have an I. Here's an I. And medium green is this one, which is the L. And I have these left over because I cut them too many. So I just thought I'd put them in here, and if they end up needing the right size, great. Okay. This is left over, and so are these. Let's talk about this. As you can see, I'm cutting down and using a lot of blocks, a lot of fabrics. So our white, it told me what to cut, but it also had a leftover piece from block 1 and another leftover piece from block 1. So these two right here came over as partial strips left over from block 1. Okay, and then it told me to take what was left over of the 2-inch strip and put it on block 10. So I did. Now the golden brown, which is this one, told me how to subcut it, and then I had leftovers, so it's just saved with my leftovers. The golden fabric, after I cut it, it told me to save the leftover and put it on block 8, which I just did. I is the gray, which had come over from the block 2. It was leftover from block 2, and after cutting these, there is still leftover, and it told me to move it to block 6. So over there it goes. And then we've got the medium green, where I had cut 2 sizes, and the leftovers went in my scrap bin. So here we are, a lot of shifting around because they're very efficient with the fabric. That I really like. Let's try to put this guy together. There's 3 pages to this month, this particular block, and I think he's probably the most complicated one. And I wouldn't call him complicated, there's just more steps. So let's start. First one it says is plan improvisation. Place fabric B, which is a white rectangle. I'll start with these big ones. And put fabric D, this one, on it, and we're going to sew it on an angle. I'm going to lay it on here as close to the way they've done it as I can, so that I can see what I'm hopefully see what I'm doing. I'm just going to pin it. Again, you can probably do it however you want. I don't really know. So this goes down to here. Okay, let's do that. So we're going to stitch along the edge of the brown strip. So I'm going to cut this off, and then we're going to have this piece, and it looks like what it's supposed to. And then I'm going to square it up. Now it makes me think I did something wrong, because their picture is showing that after I flip it back, it should cover that. So I think I went too far down. And if I put it more up here, when I flip it back, it will be where it needs to be. So I was pretty consistent in how I did these. Let's just see. Yeah, glad I didn't cut that off, because this is a good gauge. Let's try it again. Okay, so it was okay there, but it needed to be more in the center. Guys, have I got the right piece? Yeah, this is the biggest D. Is this the right size? Yes. So is that. Okay. When I'm done, I want it to be on there like this. This is probably the easiest way for me to improvise with this. Oh, you know what? I think I don't know. This is what I'm doing. And you can see almost, I'm going to make that work. So that means I need to put this on as close to that as I can. And the easiest way to do that is put this on top and just know I could have come a little farther down this way. So when I put this on here to figure out where to put it, I'm going to go down a little bit to be closer. And we should be good. Alright, that one's better. Not as much of an angle, but it is better. So they will be slightly different. They don't look that different though. Okay. Oh, and now that I've pressed that flat, it actually is good. Doesn't stick out. Now I'm going to square it up. Before I cut this off, I'm going to trim this to be that size because it is already there. Just a nice easy gauge. Scraps. And now I will trim this off. And there is a rectangle. Done. And we have two of those. It's saying white fabric up, take this block, put it here and here. Okay. Sew it on here, corner to corner, flip it back. Same with all four of these. So I'm going to do that at the same time as the next step. So it's telling me to take this one. Yes, this one. It's really similar to this one, but it's not. So don't grab the smaller one, grab the medium size one of these. And the medium size one of these. Yep. And we're going to basically do the same thing. So from what I can tell, you want to go like this. But again, when it folds over, it needs to be far enough down to be square. And I think that right there will do it. It's kind of close. Let's build one. I think I started too low, but let's see. It does all cover, but there's not much of it. I'm going to go a little higher, and since I know I'm going to be cutting this off, I'm just going to bring my line up. right, my mummy is done. I struggled with him because I couldn't read and I cut the wrong fabric, the wrong size of fabric, so I ended up with these, but I had to cut the right size in the middle of my project, not realizing I could have cut into these. Not that it matters, but it's like extra pieces. That's what happened. So now I'm going to square my block up. I decided to not square my rows up as I was making them because it's easier to do it all at once. We're done with this, and now we're going to move on to block 5. So I'll see you in the next video. Isn't he cute? What do you think about him? Let's see. There we go.